Hi Kirtan, welcome on your PDF once
Uh,
again.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, so this one is the sequel of your first video, Kirtan. And I remember I interacted with you once you got selected in this prestigious program. And that time you were in India. Now you are sitting in the university. And Kirtan, you
Yeah,
are a computer engineer and presently you are in PhD program. And I must mention it for the students who are watching us that yours is a direct PhD selection after BTech. And you are
yeah.
presently pursuing your PhD in a very prestigious university in Sydney, Australia, University of New South Wales. So, Kirtan, I interacted with you earlier. My first video was like how you landed up in Sydney and all. This is a sequel of that. And in this particular interactive video, I will be discussing with you your life in the university, your research work in the universities, quality of life, work-life balance, professors, everything. I mean, what information we want
Yeah,
from us,
sure.
right? So Kirtan, but because there will be so many students who will be watching this video first time, so I want you to give a very, very brief introduction of yours. I mean, which part of India you're from, your graduation from which
Okay.
college, and that particular part, yeah.
Okay, so my name is Kirtan Bhatt. I'm from Gujarat, India. Particular city is Ahmedabad. So I studied in Ahmedabad, LD College of Engineering, which is a prominent institute for engineering in Gujarat. So I passed out in 2022. Then I got placement from my college itself. So I worked for the process industry for 1.5 years. And during my industry, I applied for the PhD in Australia and Germany. But I got the full scholarship from Australia and very prestigious, which is UNSW, which is under top 20 university in the world. So I got into computer science PhD program, and I came here in around May 2023. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Kirtan, though our interaction today is related to your PhD program, research area, and all these things, but I will ask you one thing. Normally, whenever a student thinks of applying abroad, especially from Gujarat,
Yeah.
they think of US as the first destination and then Europe as the second destination.
Uh,
So why at the first place you thought of Australia and maybe Europe, maybe Germany?
Okay, so I never thought of USA due to some like we know like if there are some safety issues and other concerns as well. So I thought of Germany and Australia because I do many research like where to go for research and study. So I found that Australia is a very welcoming city, welcoming country for international students. They are providing like a very huge scholarship for students. So here I am getting full scholarship, including my stipend and the studies as well. And even Australia is also providing a global connection with other students. Like if I wanted to exchange in Europe, then Australia is providing that facility, being in the Australian university. So that I found one. Then in Germany, like I need to learn the German, and there was some barrier in my progress. So I prefer Australia on top of that.
Okay. Okay. So, Kirtan, now that brings me to the discussion point related to the country you have chosen, that is Australia. Australia is a very big continent, and
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of universities there. For the benefit of the students, will you share with the students what universities Indian students can target in Australia? I mean, how many universities, if not the names, how many universities are there in Australia which Indian students can target?
Okay, so before this, one more point I want to add. Like in USA, the PhD is of 5 years, while in Australia we can complete our PhD in 3.5 years, so which is already a plus
You
point
are
for
talking
us.
about after BTech also? Because I
Yeah,
what I understand
yeah.
is after BTech it takes 5 years, after MTech it takes
Uh,
4 years.
no, because it's following the European standard. Australia also following the European standard. So after BTech as well, they will enroll into some coursework, and based on that they evaluate. So it takes me 0.5 years more than the regular one, but it's completed within 3 to 4 years. While in USA, if you're direct PhD or the regular PhD, it's 5 years compulsory.
So that is wonderful because the duration is in the minds of the student. So three
Yeah,
years like
definitely.
in India में 3 साल तो MS के लिए sometime it takes 3 years in MS
Yeah,
only. That's good.
yeah.
Okay, that's
And the
wonderful. Yeah.
university the Indian students should target are like there is a scope of like group of 8 universities here, which are we can say we have top 7 IDs. Australia has group of 8 universities like University of Sydney, University of New South Wales, University of Melbourne, then Royal Melbourne University, which called RMIT, and the University Technology Sydney. So these all university comes in a group of 8. Apart from this, there are other universities which ranks under 50, under 100. So a few names are University of Newcastle, University of Wollongong, and other. But I would prefer student to go for group of 8 universities because they are prestigious and you will get your visa very early. And after graduation, you have a strong alumni connection to get into industry or the academia.
Mm. Okay, so Kirtan, as you said, there are old seven IITs, then there are technical universities in Germany. So Group of Eight has particular name in Australia, or they're called Group of Eight universities in Australia?
No, as I said, like we have top 7 IITs, prestigious
Yeah.
Institute of India. That
Mm.
they have standard like group of 8 universities, the top universities of Australia, and they ranks among the top 20 as well in the world. So
Mhm.
they have
Okay.
standards.
Okay. So Kirtan, now my this question is related to the students who have very average academic background. And nowadays I'm in contact with so many such students who have very ordinary, and how I define ordinary background is like they've done their graduation, post graduation from ordinary colleges, though their projects are good and they aspire to be in some good universities. Maybe because of credentials, like not very big brand names in BTech, MTech with them, they may not get into maybe top universities and all. But what is the opportunity for such students who are in ordinary colleges but doing really good project or something in their masters or something, and aspire to be to lead a good career like you guys are doing? I mean, you have got a very good
Okay.
university, but think of those students. What is the opportunity for them?
Okay, so what the university and the professor are looking for, the best, they didn't see the tag of the university's name and other thing. They know that what's the prestigious university in India and IITs, but on top of that, they also look for the projects and the resume and the interview, mainly the interview they conduct during your PhD selection procedure. So I was also not from IIT, but I had a good, decent project and the patent as well in my final year of bachelor. So on basis of that project, professor gave me opportunity to do uh, uh, PhD here. One more thing also, they doesn't look into discipline like I am coming from automation background, but still I am doing my PhD in computer science. So if
Mhm.
was someone doing in mechanical, but he has some strong background of computer science or the data
Mhm.
science, then he can do PhD in that as well. So there's
Mhm.
no restriction or barrier here.
Hmm. So you have done your graduation in automation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was instrumentation and control engineer.
Okay, instrumentation engineering, and then you shifted over to computer science.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there is
Hmm.
no barrier here.
So is that because you have done something related to computer science in your graduation?
Yeah, so my final year project was on cybersecurity and data, and I have done some courses as well on from Coursera on AI
Mm-hmm.
and the ML part. So basis
Mm-hmm.
of that, they allow
Hmm.
me to get into computer science.
Okay, so Kirtan, I incidentally you mentioned that, and that is a very relevant point. I want to touch it once again through you.
Mhm,
Doing certification courses in emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning from some platforms, as you mentioned, Coursera, how much helpful it is, how much cost it incurs to the students, how much time is required, because they want to consolidate their CV. So please throw some light on this
mhm.
part.
Okay, so I would say don't get much into that courses, but if you think that my project was on this, and if I do this, then I can advance or upskill myself on that domain. Like if you have done something in cybersecurity, if you
Mm.
integrate cybersecurity with AI or blockchain, then you can do courses on that, and you can show that like if I implement this, then I can do more in this domain.
Agree.
So in
Mm.
that way, you can do courses, and definitely the courses from relevant the prestigious platform add value to your resume and your profile.
Okay, and cost component, I want to discuss because that is actually Indian
Okay.
students think of it a lot. Yeah,
Okay. Actually, I was in industry, so my courses was paid by the
sponsored by
industry.
industry. Hmm.
Yeah. So, but
Any
it will
idea
cost
do
you
you have?
around.
Are they very costly or
Yeah.
something?
Uh, they provide around $1,000, but they have one financial aid component while you can mail him if you are I particularly know about the Coursera, like you mail him that I'm not financially stable to do this course, but it will upskill myself and have a better opportunity in
Okay.
future. So you can apply for the financial aid, and they
Okay.
will provide you that particular course for free.
Okay. Okay. So now, Kirtan, coming to our main, interaction points, which we must discuss today. I want to know about your university, University of New South Wales. Please tell all of us
Yeah.
sitting here about your university.
So, University of New South Wales stands second out of Australia and top 19 in the world, and especially popular for engineering and research studies. While saying that, the recent survey I have seen that it is the world's top 10 entrepreneur university as well, where the most entrepreneurs came out from the university. And it is in the heart of Sydney. Like if you are in the UNSW, you will feel like you are in the bliss of Sydney environment.
Okay.
So on top of that, there are University of Sydney and University Technology Sydney as well. There are three top universities on the same area nearby.
Okay. So you mentioned a couple of things. You said it is among first 20. You said it is first 10 among 10 in the entrepreneurial universities,
Interval.
I believe,
Yeah.
because the number of entrepreneurs it is breeding. Now, Kirtan, coming to this kind of university, it is in Sydney. It's a big city over there, and the
Yeah.
kind of scholarship you must be getting. So we always compare the scholarship which you get or the salary which you get in PhD with your living expenses. So please throw some light on that. Like, is it possible for you to survive with the scholarship you are getting, or can you save also some amount of money, because that is also one of the criterias.
Okay, so if someone know, then Sydney is the most unaffordable city in the world after Hong Kong in the second
Mm.
number. But I didn't find it very difficult to find accommodation and very costly because university is providing enough stipend. Like if I would say mine, then I'm getting $3,000 Australian dollar per month, and my rent and the grocery plus my food and travel encompasses around $1,500. So still I'm saying half of the my stipend, so I can save that much of money. It's around 80,000 or 1 lakh rupees in Indian.
Okay.
So
So
monthly I'm saving that much of money after apart from all.
So that means 80,000 can be saved while doing PhD.
Yeah,
That is far
yeah,
more than the salary of PSU officer, for which India is crazy actually back home. Think that
yeah.
honestly. I mean, I know so many of my students who are for the past 5 years, 6 years, 7 years writing GATE only to get into PSU to get a good job. So anyhow, that is a very good parameter. Now, Kirtan, as far as this PhD program is concerned, you know better because you've gone from India only. PhD program in India, there are so many misconceptions in the minds of the students. And I want to dissolve those misconceptions by asking you questions only. One of the misconceptions is that when you enter into PhD, uh, are you doing some relevant work? I mean, which can fetch you career, or you are just doing research work for the sake of doing research? That is what the perception in India is. Do the survey of the research papers, open the research paper, find the research gap, do the research, and that research may not be relevant for any industries or something, and you may not land up in the industrial job. What is the situation in your university related to this?
Okay. So one of my reason also was to look for abroad because if you do research in India, there are two main component I considered. Like there is less compensation, like less amount you are getting for your PhD, and the pressure is really high. Like one of my friend I met here also got in IIT Delhi, but he left in 1 year and got in University of Sydney for the same domain. So she told me that there was compensation was very less. Like we are getting around 30 or 35,000 PhD being in India, and the pressure was really high by the professor and the workers, like real assignments and everything. But in the here, even on the weekends, professor telling me that don't work on weekends, explore the Sydney and do the networking with other friends. And during the weekdays, they usually give me the plan like you should follow this, and we usually have weekly meetings like what progress you have done so far.
Hmm.
So this is the whole process I'm feeling. So I'm not feeling very hectic, or the schedule is not very hectic here.
Hmm.
And the professor and the people also believe in the work-life balance.
Okay, so when we talk about PhD program, another misconception is like your life is in hands of your professor.
uh,
I mean, your professor may
yeah,
pressurize you, and that is what, whenever some news comes, and that is very unfortunate, like somebody committing suicide in a PhD after 5 years or 6 years of time investment
mm,
in PhD, and so those kind of things. So, what is the situation in those universities as far as the work pressure, work stress is concerned? Because I believe that PhD is actually arduous journey, and you have to work on something, you have to find a solution to something. Those kind of things will be there also. I'm sure in foreign universities also. How do you cope up with
yeah,
that? No, let's imagine that you are stuck up somewhere and the solution is not coming. That
yeah,
is a problem in India also. That is there also. In that situation, I've seen students in India, they are putting their head against the wall, and then they're going from post to pillar, and they may not
mm,
get the much support other than, okay, pressure from external side that you have to do it. How that happens in your university, those
okay.
universities?
So here, if talk about my particular case, then if I'm unable to do something or show some result on my deadline, then professor just told me about how to implement and do this. Sometimes they also scold me, or in not that way, but you have an option like you can, if you feel that your professor is not giving you enough support, then you can change your professor or raise your voice here. I don't know in India we have that option or not, but there are one more thing here, like apart from professor, you have one mentor as well, assigned from UNSW University as itself. So in the relevant domain, you will assign once with one postdoc who will guide you in your initial year, because in initial year you are just blank, you don't know what path you should follow, how much reading you should do, or what topic you will decide. So the mentor, the postdoc will guide you for the initial days, and the professor are also supporting. But if you feel that your professor is not really supporting you, or there is some problem with that, then you can change your professor as well by raising particular concerns.
So that is not much difficult. I mean, some issues coming, then you can change the things,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Kirtan. Is there any probability that you tired after 2 3 years and now you don't want to do PhD and you get some certificate
Um,
and you go out of your university with that certificate?
uh, I haven't seen many cases of this,
People don't
maybe,
leave, huh?
but
Hmm.
yeah, but people usually complete their PhD, and during the PhD, they will got some good internship. Like on the last week, I visited the Dolby Australia, and next month we will be visiting Google Australia for deep learning network. So it's not like you will leave your
Okay.
PhD half the way and do the instead of you will have a correct, you will feel like you should complete a PhD, and you have a very good opportunity after that.
Okay. Since you mentioned that the duration of PhD in Australia is not 4 or 5 years, it is 3 or 3.5 years. So that is not a long
Yeah,
duration. Still, to make it even more interesting, and do you people get opportunities for conferences and internship as you just mentioned? Because when I
yeah.
compare students in India abroad, I find the students from India from IITs they get opportunity one or two international conferences. What is the criteria in your university? I mean, if you want to go for conferences, what is the frequency? Are they paid? And similarly, internships.
Okay, so first of all, the conferences, the university, the professor have a fund to sponsor. If I have some conference in California, USA, then they will provide me $6,000 of amount for the one
Mm,
conference. If it's not enough, then supervisor or your joint supervisor can fund you more to complete the conference. But the conference must be relevant to your domain, obviously.
mm.
So through this, you can go to the conferences, and apart from this, for internship, the UNSW have very strong industry connection. Like as I mentioned, the last week I went to Dolby, Australia, which has many internship opportunities. And next month we will going to Google Australia. So they have many connection with industries where they recruit second year or first year PhDs to align with their projects and do implementations.
And what kind of collaboration opportunities do you get? You mentioned about Google in offices you are going there and all. So being in PhD these 3 years, you have to develop the connections and collaborations. How much of opportunity do you get for these kind of things?
Once you go there, they will see your background, and not it's not like that. They will give their project, and their for company benefit, they will assign you some project for that. They will see your how your PhD project is aligning with their industrial project, and they will try to match up with your supervisor, and you
Mm.
can work parallelly on both and get some outcome of that.
Mm. Okay, wonderful. Now, Kiran, coming to your research domain, please make
Yeah.
us aware about which field you are doing your PhD and what is the research area.
One wonderful thing about my PhD is I have an industry partner called CSRO. You can think it of as a DRDO of India, so which is a Australian government institute. So CSRO is providing me all the equipments, all the digital platforms like AI Gym and the AI platforms and the supercomputers. So I will be working on that for the project. So my project is focused on smart building controlling through AI and cyber physical systems. So what, in the layman terms, what I'm doing is controlling building equipments through AI and making it more optimized and energy saving format.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Kirtan, the person, the student who is listening to you, something is coming to his mind, and that is, मैं ये यूनिवर्सिटी कैसे ज्वाइन कर सकता हूँ? How can I join this university? So, what are the credentials required in me? So, please answer this question of a student who is listening to you right now and who wants to know whether he can also join your university. And when you answer this question about the credentials required, please also answer the question like what typically a professor will see in the credentials of the student, and when he will interact with the students, what he would like to know.
Okay, so first if you are in bachelor's and want to do direct PhD, then you must have some publication like patent or research paper uh, from your bachelor. Otherwise, they will not entertain you for direct PhD. And for the for the masters, there you have a master's thesis. So on the basis of that, they will let you in. For the bachelor's and master both, you must have 80 percentage, which is around 8 CGPA or above in your academics, and some a good project in your bachelor's or the master's. And one more thing the professor look for is, as you know, like you need to mail the professor your profile and your cover letter. So they mainly look for your, if you have industry experience, then first they will look to the industry experience and the projects you have done. The other curricular or other activities doesn't matter so much, but the thing is the pivot role is your interview. First, you reach to the interview with your professor online, then they will give you some problem or some domain like here we have recent problem of this. How will you approach and how will you solve this? So write some research proposal or one paper on that. One paper means two pages of solution and send them, and they will evaluate that. And basis of that, they will again questioning you. So there will be a one or two interview, and then your final selection will be done.
It's, there are so many youngsters, so many graduates who, after BTech, they join industries and they work in industries 2 years, 4 years, even up to the tenure of 10 years. I know many of my students who are for the last 10 years into industry and they're doing good. Now they want to leave industries and they want to come into academia. They may not be having research papers or something with them. They have very good BTech CGP or something. They have good industrial experience. So, what are the opportunities for such youngsters?
Okay, so I have seen many of like aged people coming here direct after industry, and some of them are also sponsored by industry that you should do postdoc and came back to industry. So if someone is tired from doing industrial job and want to do something in the advanced technology or something, then there is really good opportunity here. Like they have a special section of this kind of
Mm.
people. They call it's a industry bridge internship or industry bridge research, so the people are recruited in this
Mm.
PhD opportunities.
So industrial experience has an advantage when you approach professor for these kind of courses.
Yeah, if you are applying to the same domain of what you are done in industry, then it really matters for you.
Wonderful. Okay, Kirtan, now we have come to an almost end of this session and I want to restrict it, but my last question will be related to opportunities after PhD. So if I invest 3.5 year or 4 years, क्या मेरे को job मिल जाएगा? There's a question.
Okay. So even I have that question when I was in India, but I connected with many of people on LinkedIn and interact with them. And I found that in Australia, you have a global connections and the exposure where you meet with another companies. Like I already said about Dolby and Australia, Dolby, Google, and IBM. So what they can do is here. Actually, my goal is to get into industry first. So what I will do is do the internship, and based on internship, they will provide a placement offer as well. And concerning the job market here, there are like really demand of PhD or research student because like Australian people are more into sports and other things compared to research and that. So here the Asian people are ruling in research sector and everything. So you have good opportunities to get into research sector or industry.
Wonderful. So, Kirtan, that brings us to an end of this, I must say, very enriched session. A lot of information coming from your side related to research, Australia, Australian universities. And that was the purpose I wanted to interact with you, that you are now in PhD. I'll certainly pop up once again once you are towards the end of your PhD, Kirtan, and I will cover your journey of entire PhD. So, thanks a lot once again for your time, and I wish you all the very best for your journey in PhD further. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.